Okay, thanks a lot. I think we are at the end of this first question and answer session, and we have about half an hour for asking questions, also bringing some example. Just one small comment on this, because I feel compelled as a practitioner on what I've heard today. I mean, when you hear this kind of discussion, then I am a practitioner in the field. I said, okay, what do I do with this? I mean, that is the panic, and then I said, okay, until, let's say, the technical working group enlighten us on what is necessary to be, we should do. What do we do? My take on this is that I understand that there is already a lot of things that are happening in the field that needs to be improved on, and I think the technical working group is sort of accompanying this process, but I mean, it is absolutely imperative that the foundational work which is already exists, the experience which are just continue, and they improve as they can, because decision is not for in 10 or 15 years, it's for tomorrow. And also some of the rumors about impending drought in East Africa, or looming drought in East Africa, I think it's better for all the practitioners to move with the tools that are at disposal, which have already been, in some of them have been already quite extensively tested, and use the technical working group as a reference in order to move ahead in terms of developing the different issues and methodology. Now, we have about half an hour for question and answer. Oh. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Let me first ask someone who is not a member of the technical working group.
Tim, can you go and get drinks?
Yes.
Because we're going to be here.
Well, I'm Nicola Cozza. I work for a consortium that is working for building resilient communities in Somalia.
I'm taking this trip.
Thank you. I don't think I need to repeat it at this point, but anyway, I think it is, first of all, I would like to thank you very much. I'm a practitioner, I can say, in the meaning that I'm working for a consortium of NGOs, international NGOs, who are working together to build resilient communities in Somalia. My name is Nicola Cozza. I would like, first of all, to thank you, because I think some of the things that we have been hearing here, not just here right now, also earlier today, are actually quite useful also for the point of view of a practitioner like me. What I would like to say is it's very interesting for me, the idea of, first of all, identifying some key drivers of resilience in the communities that we are targeting. And this is, of course, more of a qualitative kind of process in which, through participatory methodology and through also the data available, we can try to identify maybe those famous 5 or whatever key drivers that really may have particular make sense in a specific community. The other thing is, at this point, once we have these key drivers, which are somehow specific to each community, then we can try to quantify, if possible, to assess these key drivers. And possibly we can later on bring back to the community the kind of analysis or the kind of results that we have from this process. Now, this seems quite interesting to me. It seems also to make a lot of sense. The problem with this, and this is my question maybe, is at this point, I think we kind of lose standardization, and also we lose the possibility of comparing these results with both with other consortium who are working in Somalia or in other areas, and also maybe among the different communities that we are targeting. So if we want to do it well, somehow we also lose standardization, maybe.
Maybe
just two things. I would like to ask people just to ask questions, because otherwise it's absolutely unmanageable. I've seen so many hands which are raised. One piece of information that I would like to provide you with is that we were talking about the work of the technical working group, and the third piece of work the technical working group is to prepare are technical guidelines. Now, the idea is that in order to do these technical guidelines as much as more, let's say, user-oriented or community of practice-oriented, the technical working group will launch an e-consultation on these in order really to understand what are the key issues and the key questions that the practitioners are expecting to be answered. So most probably we'll not get all the questions today, but I think we'll take care of these issues. You were the first. You were the first.
Chris, you were the first.
Yeah, I mean, you came here first. I mean, you were here at 20 minutes before the start. So I think you are entitled to a question.
I have two questions. The first question has to do with where do we get access to the work that you have been done? Can you give us a web site or something like that that those of us who are practitioners and are not part of the august body can learn? The second thing is that it seems, as I've listened at this conference, there's the movement away from the individual to households to communities. And I'd like the panel to comment on the fact that the larger the scale of the unit of measurement, the more difficult it is to measure. In the first place, very often we're equating villages with communities, and villages are not communities. Communities may encompass a whole village, but it may not. The other thing is, even though we can measure fragmentations, we do not know whether the stress is going to shatter the village along the fragment page, or it's going to drive it together. The communities have hidden strengths and hidden weaknesses, and how does this affect our analysis of community resilience?
Okay, the other point I have to raise is that only one question, not three. So, so let's answer to this question. Concerning the website, there are still some brochure available.
I put some out front, and the website is www.fsincop.net.
But you will get some more information on the brochure which are just outside. Someone wants to answer that question? Okay, a couple of more questions. Yeah.
Suppose we were able to measure shocks well. What do you expect will change in our response to shocks? Because this will then maybe affect also how we measure those shocks. Certainly, just publishing a nice research paper may not build resilience.
One more question? The lady, yeah. No, you, yeah. Madam, yeah. You, okay.
Thanks. Sarah Delaney, I work with Episcopal Relief and Development. In the last panel, I think it was Eric said that indices are only useful for communication or advocacy purposes. They can't really be used for practical monitoring, planning purposes. And then John started out here by talking about the development of a resilience index, which I can understand. Resilience is a multifaceted issue. Probably we need an index for it. So I just wanted to get the opinion of, are we thinking of resilience being measured by an index? If so, is it different from what they were talking about on the last panel, and how?
Okay, please. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Modunaki, and I'm a Leland International Hunger Fellow. I guess I'm just a little bit confused about what John Cutts and Jikero said. John Cutts, you
all of it. Not unusual.
Yeah, I thought I understood in your statement that you're saying that some people use survey data and then consider that measuring resilience. And to me, that suggests that you're saying that that's not resilience. And when Carleto was asked, is the data good? First he said, oh no, do we have the data? He said first, no. And later on you said also that we shouldn't forget that we already have some data. And then you refer to the surveys, household surveys. So which, it's a little confusing. Do we have it or not?
Okay, let's take a question on the question, and then we have a second round. Who wants to start? Jero.
It's an honor to be like. Okay, so let me start with the last one, which is probably, it's the only one I remember. given my advanced age. Okay, do we have data? No, I think that every question comes with a disclaimer, right? And I think the implicit meaning of that question was, do we have the right data? Do we have the ideal set of data? Do we have sufficient data? Do we have the right quality data? And the answer is, on average, no. I can put a little qualifier there. But then, I say that there is a lot of data out there which were not initially collected for resilience measurement purpose, which can be used to tell some of the story, to take the snapshot that I was discussing before, but more importantly, to learn about where the gaps are, so you can improve on to answer the first question, which was, we don't have the right data. So I think it's how we use what we have, how we tweak future data collection without increasing the cost or increasing the complexity, to move towards what we need, kind of the ideal state. But so I don't know whether I answer your question, but then I want to take on, since I have the floor. So on this issue of limitation of self-reported, and I just want to give a kind of an example, a little analysis that we did, looking at self-reported shocks versus satellite imagery versus weather stations. So kind of looking at, so if you, the issue is this, that you're not able to distinguish, with the data that we have, what's due to mismeasurement of self-reported and what is due to mismeasurement of other sources, secondary sources, given the fact that you don't have the right resolution. I'll give you an example. If a farmer tells you that they experience a drought, and we know that rainfall might be very idiosyncratic, even at the plot level, let alone just at the farm, or at the farm, so. And then you have a weather station data, which might be from a weather station 20 kilometers away or 50 kilometers away, or from Zambia in the case of Malawi. So then you know that, you just said, some error might be due to the fact that the weather station is not picking up at a particular location. Satellite imagery the same. The type of data that we have access to, they're the lowest resolution is 10 by 10, 10 by 10, 9 by 9, the free one. Of course, you have to the millimeter, particularly if it's Afghanistan or Kosovo, or a few years ago. So, therefore, but those are not available, or cannot be purchased for just the kind of money that we have. So, therefore, which is which? And the point I was trying to make is that we do need a lot more of that, because if we want to move it towards a systematic use of self-reporting, which is what we do. Because it's the only cost-effective way to do it. It's we know that we are mismeasuring. We have a huge mismeasurement, and I think to get a better understanding. One last thing that I wanted to say was, I will not say it. It's somewhere here, and then.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I will.
You're the same problem.
Yeah, thank you.